It's Monday. Some might say it's the worst day of the week. Some say it's the best day of the week. Right now, it just feels like every other day of the week. Groundhog Day. It's time for a good old-fashioned camera review. You guys know I was a pretty big fan of the Fujifilm X-T3, and this right here is the Fujifilm X-T4. Why is it that review units always come with zero battery? Can't they just charge the batteries? It's time for specs. 1.5 crop sensor, 26 megapixels, up to 20 photos a second. It's a burst mode IBIS, 6.5 stops of stabilization, 10-bit 4K video, up to 60 frames per second at 400 megabits per second. But it does have a crop of 1.8, I believe, in 60 frames per second, 1080 up to 240 frames per second, which is new at 200 megabits per second. The body's a little bit bigger than the X-T3. It has a flip LCD screen and dual card slots. And now more importantly, let's find out how well does it work and how good does it look. But first I'm gonna take a nap because battery's charging. Okay, battery's charged. It is not a nice day at all, but we went on a little walk because I'm gonna film some footage for you guys. Kai, what'd you find?
I found the snail's not moving.
A snail? It's not moving?
It's Dobby, taking a nap.
Okay, it's starting to rain. We're gonna head home. Hope I got some sort of good footage there. This is also a good vlog test. Princess, did you forget how annoying it is to work with me?
I hate it so much.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You're just hangry right now.
No.
By the way, are the sides warping? Are they like wobbling? That's what I'm always scared with IBIS and using a wide angle lens. The sides will all be like wobble, 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 wobble. Is that happening right now? Or is this like super smooth goodness? Did you get dolled up for me or just because you're so sick of being inside? Princess used to always be the model in my films. Then she got replaced by Matt. The only problem is that Matt's not quite as pretty as Princess, so. Hey, guys. Too many people hanging around here. We need to break it apart. 6 feet. 6 feet, yeah. Keep moving, keep going. You'll thank me later. They gave me this super wide lens. Do I look good like this? Do you feel like you're really close to me? Is this awkward? Can you smell my beard yet? It's got beard oil in there. It smells not bad. They did give me this one crazy wide lens though. It's probably not the best for close-ups, but it does give this like cool cribs-like effect. This is an 8 to 16 mil lens, so it's super wide. My nose, I swear it's not that big. Definitely use this for vlogging. Is it warping in the corners? But it's very, very smooth. Like, look at this action. Gimbal shot I'm gonna get here. This literally looks like it's on a gimbal, but it's just handheld. Right, buddy? Handheld? You gonna do a little run test?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do now.
Okay, run. Go. To your bedroom. Where's your bedroom?
And go again.
Again?
Yeah, I want one again.
Guy, your room's a mess. To the TV room. What?
Again.
I'm out of breath, but the IBIS is very impressive with this crazy wide lens. It is a little warpy in the corners, though. That's just how it is. Here's a quick test of the different color film simulations. This one's standard, Eterna, classic negative, Eterna bleach bypass. It's pretty heavy. And here's F-Log, and let's just add some contrast and saturation. What are you doing, buddy? Are you cutting my hair? Oh, thanks, buddy. It's a very nice head scratch. I like it. I could do this all day. How about you? And the nice thing about this setup is that it's a lot smaller than my EOS R setup. It's lighter for sure and smaller. So if you need a lighter setup for vlogging, photography, that sort of stuff, this could be your thing right here. Kai, come look at you jumping in the puddle, buddy. Look at our matching shirts. Look at you, whoa. So after using this for a couple hours, I'd say the biggest new things are obviously the IBIS, the 240 frames per second, and flip LCD screen. I think this is actually, is this the only other than Canon, I think this might be the only crop sensor, APS-C size sensor that has a flip LCD screen. There's a lot of Micro Four Thirds that have flip LCD screens, but I don't think there's any APS-C that has, I think this might be the only one. Tell me if I'm wrong. And I thought maybe the new bleach bypass film emulation would be cool, but I don't know. I think it's pretty heavy-handed. I don't think I would ever want to use that. Even the classic negative, I feel like both of them are too heavy-handed that you're just stuck in that look. If you really love that look, then yeah, you could use it. But for me, I always like having a little bit more flexibility than getting the look straight at a camera. Image-wise, it looks pretty great. I mostly use the Eterna film emulation. I don't know if it's a film emulation, but the Eterna look, and it looks pretty great straight at a camera. It's fairly neutral, but still has this cinematic look to it. The autofocus is always a surprise to me on the Fujifilms. I don't know what they're doing because they don't have dual pixel autofocus like Canon does, but I still think that Fujifilm might have the best autofocus next to Canon. Canon's obviously still the king, but to me, the autofocus on this guy is better than on any of the Sonys that I've ever tried. And the 240 frames per second, it's not like super great. It's not terrible. It's not super great. It kind of reminds me of, I used to have access to a FS700 back in the day, and it did 240 frames per second in like a burst mode. I think it was like 8 seconds or something like that. It kind of reminds me of that. So it's like, it's decent, you could use it, but it's not like super high quality either. It does make me miss super slow motion though. There's just something really cool about super slow, it just looks good. The IBIS is probably the thing that I was most excited about because on the Fujifilm X-T4, which I reviewed like, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. With a crop sensor especially, you get so much of those little micro jitters, and that was just like one of the big reasons why I wouldn't have ever used the X-T4. So I was really pumped that this thing has IBIS, and I'm not seeing a ton of the wobble. There's definitely times where you do see it, but it is a little jerky. It's not, when you're just like walking around, it's a little bit jerky when you're not trying to be really smooth about it. Definitely all the micro jitter shakes, that's all gone, but there is this like jerkiness to it. It's not always super smooth, but it is way better than having nothing, like way better. I'm definitely nitpicking here. After trying to color grade for a little while, I will say I'm pleasantly surprised. Sometimes, depending on the camera, it is very hard to color grade the footage. And both the Eterna is very easy to color grade, and the log isn't too bad either. You just add some contrast and saturation, and it looks pretty good straight away. Classic negative, the bleach bypass, probably wouldn't be using those ever. There's a lot of options in the menu too. I've just like barely dove in on these Fujifilm cameras. There's just so many things you can change. It's almost a little bit overwhelming. I did hear though that the shutter is super quiet. So let's test this out. This is my voice, and then here is the shutter. That's pretty quiet. So who is the Fujifilm X-T4 for? I say it's probably still more so for photographers. Yeah, you're probably saying you didn't use it for photography at all. That's accurate, but I know it's really good for stills. But you cannot throw away the video capabilities of the Fujifilm X-T4. I think Fujifilm has come a really, really long way in a very short time when it comes to video. And I could totally use this camera as a vlogging camera, as a stills camera, even to get some really cool cinematic stuff. I mean, you got 240 frames per second, 120 frames per second, you got 4K 60, basically everything you could ever want. No, it's not full frame, which is a bit of a downer for me. And sorry if this was the worst review of a camera ever. Trying to make do with what I got, but hey, at least it probably distracted you for a little bit. That's a bonus. This mess of stuff just everywhere. I definitely chose the right person to be stuck in quarantine with. Princess chose the wrong person.